Tell our audience about BECA and the focus on changing the census at the C-suite level by creating opportunity, access, and equality for Black marketers to help them rise to the top. Give us the down low on BECA.
Right. Well, I think Becca is just like the perfect example of it takes a village and what happens when you unite with the common cause. So, when I think about Becca and the impetus for it, many of us lead a quiet life of helping others through mentorship, through advice, through guidance, through championing their growth. And you can do that on an individual basis, but when you unite, when the scale of all vectors pointing in one direction is very powerful. I like to quote that famous African proverb that says, "If spiders unite, they can tie up a lion." And so, going through the pandemic and being reading a lot more trade magazines than I normally had, and looking at a lot more main stage speeches that were virtual that I couldn't travel to, I saw a lot of great work on display from marketers but every kind of roundup of the best, many of the articles where they were quoting the top trends in marketing, many of the main stage presentations I saw, I didn't see anyone that looked like me. And so if they were talking about a subject, insurance, packaged goods, retail, and I didn't see the people that I knew, I thought, well, something's wrong here. And if this is supposed to be the top 10, 20 leading marketers, and I don't see anyone that looks like me, there's something wrong here. And so it kind of, I put that in the back of my mind, but then I also started thinking about the isolation that everyone was feeling. And I started reaching out to many of my friends, many of whom are marketers. I keep great company, so a lot of my good friends are marketers. And I just kind of hit them up and said, "Hey, how you doing?" And a conversation which I thought would be like a 10, 15-minute check-in ended up being like 60 minutes, 90 minutes of just what everybody was going through. And I enjoyed it. They enjoyed it. It was a way to connect. And then I say, okay, I'm going to do that again. That felt good. And by the fifth time, Jeremy, I said, there's something here. How do we create a space where we can share our triumphs, our struggles, our questions, our learnings? And I went to my office and I kind of got out a clean sheet of paper and I started writing something about what I felt was missing. A place for, Black marketers to come together, executive leaders to share, to learn, to elevate, and to pay it forward. Because the pay it forward piece was really important. I mean, it's great. We can get together and we can share stories, war stories, great stories, triumphs. But the elevating was important too, because this profession of marketing and advertising and creativity has been great to me. It's one that I kind of fell into by accident, but I'm so happy that I did. And so if I could elevate the profession and elevate our voices, Black marketers in the profession toward paying it forward for those that followed, because I'm always very honest, I've made a ton of mistakes. And if I can avoid you stepping on that landmine, then that's even better that I went through that. So once I did the share, learn, elevate, pay it forward as a kind of the pillars, I started, recruiting people that were like-minded because all these rock star CMOs that are part of the Black Executive CMO Alliance are looking for that 25th hour in the day. They're all busy, but they signed up to become a member of BECA because it was about them, sharing their time, their talent, and their treasures, finding that 25th hour, giving it to BECA and paying it forward. And the beauty of it was that we all felt that it looks like you would think if you were just kind of dropped in from Mars and you were reading trades or watching these main stages that you would think, oh, well, there must not be any around. You would think it was a supply problem. And all along, we've known it was about demand and whether or not you were changing and looking for people and not the usual suspects. And that really started as an idea. And then as I looked around to see where something like that existed, it didn't exist. So I created the thing that didn't exist that I wanted, and invited like-minded people that were just so badass that it became a bigger movement than I even imagined.
Wow. But along the way, Jerry, I'm just curious, were there sparks, were there moments of where you saw an opportunity to bring people around you, to bring Black executives around you in the early days coming up and as a marketing leader? Did you notice, wow, there's a big opportunity here to bring Black executives in?
No, because I was a corporate duck. I mean, I quacked, I walked, I talked like a corporate duck. And I always say I get paid on the 15th and the 30th, regardless of what was happening in the company. And so all of my objectives, all of the things that I wanted to do were about furthering the organization's mission. Because I've always been the type of CMO that was about driving the top and bottom line of the organization. It was about how are we going to grow this company and how is marketing going to be recognized, held accountable for the growth of this organization. And so that with that focus, it was always about galvanizing my team. I've always felt that as a leader, my job was to inspire and motivate people to do their amazing best. And so I knew about leadership from the standpoint of believing in people and showing what they were worth, but to gather people to follow me outside of an organization or a mission or a project, no. And it's interesting, Jeremy, that you mentioned Kevin Warren, because when I was first thinking about this, when it was an idea in my mind, when I hadn't really talked to that fifth person, I called Kevin because through the years, Kevin and I had gotten to know each other, and I was looking for, like, who will tell me, Jerry, there's no there there. God bless you, bless your heart. It's a nice idea. But I talked to Kevin, and Kevin said, Jerry, yeah, I'm there. Let's do this. And it was just, again, that like-minded. And I had conversations with so many people, but Kevin was one of those first people that I had that conversation with. And even when I created BECA, it wasn't so much of me being the leader, but how could we galvanize this group of people toward a mission that we all collectively could solve? I happen to be the one that created the infrastructure because we created it as a nonprofit. It was very important for me for this to be a 501c3. It wasn't about making money. It was about us being able to help others and setting up a trademark, coming up with a name. I was very specific about the name. It was Black specifically and purposefully. It was executive specifically and professionally. And then CMO because it was grounded in marketing. What's interesting, I was originally going to call it the Black CXO because we have members in BECA that are presidents, that are CEOs, that are EVPs, that are chief reputation brand. And I thought CX means fill in the blank, but everyone thought that I was starting an organization of chief what? Experience officers. So I was like, oh, you're going to start an organization of Black chief experience officers. I was like, no, X means it's all within marketing. So, I changed it to CMO so that we could signal what this was about. And then we allowed it to be that your path was through marketing. So your path through the C-suite was marketing. So if you were a president, you're a CEO, a COO, your title was really grounded in being a marketer.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel for more great marketing interviews with today's top industry leaders. And thank you to our partner at Salesforce. Salesforce brings marketing and engagement together. Learn more at salesforce.com/marketing.